Previously in X-Men, death has pursued Rachel Summers for as long as she can remember. So much so that her role as a hound, a mutant hunter in her original timeline, ended the lives of more of her kind than she can ever forget. And tensions have been coming to a head for young Rachel, especially since she amassed nigh infinite powers to rid the universe of the Beyonder. Is she actually a bringer of death? Is it her destiny to follow down the path of Dark Phoenix like her mother, Jean Grey? If so, is there anyone able to stop her? I am Jason Lapidus.
I'm Chris Sanagan.
And we are Group of Seven Comics. Welcome to episode 136 of our ongoing Tuesday night live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic as we read Uncanny X-Men number 207 by Chris Claremont, John Romita Jr., and Dan Green, cover date of July 1986. Chris, how are you?
I'm good. I think I have finally recovered from our weekend activities. You and I were at a comic show here in Guelph, Ontario, Guelph Comics Jam, and stayed out late. Had a good time doing it.
We didn't stay out that late.
I don't know. It was midnight-ish.
It was dark.
It was midnight-ish.
No, was it?
Yes.
I have no idea. I don't remember. I do not remember the
way,
time.
And that's later than the ages of us and what we're anyway. So it was fun. We had a great time.
It was a very fun night. I'm super grateful for all the parties that played host, including you and your lovely wife and children. Everyone was really, really generous and hospitable. So I appreciate that. And of course, the crew at the Dragon in Guelph, Ontario. That was super cool of everyone to be sweet with us and to be so generous with their time and with their hospitality. I do not remember it being midnight, but that's because I never checked my watch because I had nowhere else to be. And that's awesome. That's really cool.
Hung out with some great creator friends too. Made some new creator friends. It was good times.
Yes, and of course, once the day is done and the next morning shows up, I realize all the people I did not spend time talking to and making connections, and I kind of need to do it all again to amend some of those misses. And it's great to see everyone and chat, just catch up with old friends, and like you said, make some new contacts and build those new relationships, which is always such a pleasure. Hello in the chat to Ali. Welcome back, Ali. We missed you last week, but we knew you had important things to do. Chuck, welcome back. Michael, hey. Richard, how you doing, man? Hope you're well. I was listening to the Transformer soundtrack today, and I thought of you. Chuck, hope you're good, and you get two because you've already posted twice. So there you go. Maybe a loaded question. Best Wolverine cover, and then I amended it in the heading for the video. It's like maybe best Romita Wolverine cover. But I got to say, there are a couple that are in contention for this, and from a personal point of view. This one is really high up on my list for Romita Wolverine covers, or Romita covers in general. I found that in his X-Men run, he didn't often knock it out of the park, like give me an A+ cover, but this one has, to me, stood the test of time. Let me move that over one. This one stood the test of time for me, as being something that I look back on often as being a really iconic Wolverine pose. And I still think it fits in that flavor of that Paul Smith and then turns into the Arthur Adams, like all those running poses of him going forward. This one, he's obviously in the middle of a good slash. But I love this one. Do you like this one?
Yes. There's something about the pose of the body that's throwing me off a bit.
Well,
I like the energy, and I like the slash of the page.
There are some elements to it that aren't anatomically correct, but I think that for me, it hasn't ever I haven't bumped up against it, for lack of a better phrase. I'm sure there was a nicer one to say. Like, yeah, it doesn't bug me at all. You know, his anatomy, his proportions are, he draws them really tall, like small heads, tall bodies.
Mm.
And Wolverine as well. Like that thigh is super long for Wolverine, the one that we can see, and so is then his lower leg in the foreground. But for whatever reason, this one just sings for me. I love it, and I will marry it. That's pretty much how I feel.
I mean, listen, you come across this on a newsstand or at your local, convenience store or whatever. That's you're gonna pick this comic up.
Definitely does the commerce piece. We were talking last week, I think, about these covers that are pinups as opposed to narrative, and this is a good example to me of a pinup style cover that really appeals to me, and I wouldn't think twice about it. So this is probably my favorite, maybe my favorite Wolverine from Romita, and there's one more that's a contender that we'll get to when Anthony Falcone visits us with issue 211.
It's coming up.
That's the other like great Romita cover. So I see. Oh, and it's Transformers Day today. That's a thing. Is there a reason it's Transformers Day? Like, is the calendar, Richard? I'm speaking to you specifically here. You know how like May the 4th. Obviously, there's a reason that it's Star Wars Day. Is there something that makes today? Is it like the code to enter Teletron 1? I don't. Who knows? I did not know it was Transformers Day, and for whatever reason, while I was drawing, I was listening to the soundtrack to the movie, the 1986 movie, and really loving it. And I'm not sure what provoked me to do that. Maybe it's hit my subconscious. Chuck has
I'm looking
a random question.
Yeah.
Chuck, this is not random at all. This is an X-Men show. So this is right on brand. How much longer does Wolverine go with the brown themed costume? I'm going to tease you. Why is it? Because you want him to take it off. He stays with this costume even when they're with Jim Lee and Chris Claremont's X-Men #1, the adjectiveless X-Men #1, I think in 1991. On the cover, he's still wearing this. So it's during that block where he kind of, I'm not say officially, but where he is no longer using the brown suit, probably so the early 90s. Now he will in his solo series, which starts maybe in about 2 years in publication timeline around 88. He will switch to that. I'm going to just call it the ninja suit. I don't think it's very ninja-y. He's unmasked in that one, but sometimes wears a lace strip across his eyes for reasons.
Really?
And it is a red belt, and then the rest of the suit is basically black or dark gray kind of thing. So he will wear this for about another 5 years of publication in X-Men titles. And of course, there will be that moment in time in issue 275, spoilers, Uncanny X-Men 275, Chris.
Which I read. What? This week?
Where he will wear a Jim Lee style training suit along with the other members of the team. But again, defaults back to this one once the moment comes. So Richard adds, today's the day the first episode of the G1 TV show premiered.
Hey.
Today marks 40 years since the Transformers made their debut. To our TV's minds and hearts. That's very sweet. Yes. So you know what showed up in my feed? Of course, Hasbro is playing like the music of that episode or of the TV shows. So that was in my YouTube feed, and when I saw that it wasn't the soundtrack to the movie, I just went right to my Apple Music and put the movie on. Yeah, but that must be what provoked me. But there you go, 40 years.
Wow,
that was a big moment watching that. I think it was the first few episodes were definitely captivated me when I was 9 and a bit. Chuck says, is this suit the longest running version of his various outfits? Oy, oy, oy. I don't think so. So we get it for the first time in Uncanny X-Men, I'm going to say 139, when Nightcrawler and Wolverine go up to Canada to fight Wendigo and help out with members of Alpha Flight. He wears this for the first time then. So that's, a few years back, and he wears it under a decade. But the astonishing one, as I just keep these on hand, as David pointed out last week. I think we were talking about it because of John Cassidy. He wore this for like 15 years, basically, or variations of this one. So now, of course, there are, with so many X titles running in 2024 and in the last 20 years, and different brands for each title, they really will modify suits. And if they want to bring on let's say a high name artist, they'll give them the freedom to make a tweak or who knows what. So it feels like it's now really just the whim of the team working on the book as opposed to something in the narrative. But yeah, it's I think he wears this one longer than he wore the original. The original he would have worn from 74 in his first appearance up until he wears this. And then he gets, about 10 years out of this one. And back to the original with some variations. And then, yeah, the astonishing suit is the next major for a long time. Of course, the Grant Morrison, Frank Whiteley, the leather suits, those don't last all that long. And you can throw in, if you want to, for conversation, the costume he wore over in, what's it called? Ultimate X-Men, but I think you can kind of boil it down to sort of three major costumes if you had to get it that way. Oh, yeah, costumes, Wolverine. Lots. So, look at this, Chris. There are the original inks from this. I think it's really striking this way, too. I would like to redraw this, personally, but I'm down the road one day when I have some extra. Yeah, it'd be a fun one to do. Maybe I'll fix that leg for you. That left leg is super long. But anyway, moving on. What?
Right. Who are we to speak ill of long legs?
Oh, well, when you put it that way. All right. Wanna get into this? No X news.
I think we should.
I don't know how much reading you're going to get to do this issue, by the way.
Yeah, it's a lot of you. That's okay. You let me know. You let me know if you want to.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Chuck says this has been Costume Talk on previously in X-Men.
Yeah, so we've got Oasis talk, costume talk. We do all kinds of different talks. TikTok talk. So much talk.
True. Stanley presents Ghosts. Woo. Each breath is fouled by smoke, each thought by silent screams of agony and grief. In her childhood, the city was a magic place full of life and light and wonder. Now it is do I say carnal? When you say charnel?
I was thinking charnel, like charred, but I could be wrong.
Let's just go with charnel then for fun. Now it is a charnel pit, home of the dead and those about to die. And she helped make it so. Phoenix.
I like the credits in the the one-way sign and such. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, it's always fun when they do that. That is an Eisnerian
of course.
flourish.
Right.
Yes. Wolverine! Boy, am I glad to see a friendly face. What's going on, partner? Wait, girl. Figure it out yourself. You cut me. I aim to kill you. Never! He's serious. I can see it in his thoughts. That's really Wolverine, my fellow X-Man. My friend. And he doesn't intend to stop until he's dead or I am. My telekinetic attack won't do any more than slow him down, no matter how badly he's hurt. His body's mutant healing factor will heal him. Oh, his healing factor will heal him? Thanks. So already, like, they have to say so much. Like, that's the Jim Shooter of it all, right?
Right.
explaining who all the characters are and what their abilities are. And his enhanced his enhanced senses will lead him to me, no matter where I hide. Why is he doing this? What's happening? My costume, it changed. I'm not Phoenix anymore. I'm a hound. I don't run from muties, Wolverine. I hunt them. No!
Hey, to your knowledge, have they made a hound figure?
My knowledge, you know I know.
That's what I asked.
They have not.
Okay.
They have not made Rachel Summers in either of these two outfits,
Oh.
nor the kind of hybrid of them both, which a lot of people would really love, which is where it's the hound outfit kind of in red leather.
Yeah, okay.
I kind of wish she had have, well, I wish I had have grown to really like Rachel. It hasn't happened yet.
Right.
In our read through.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of this Phoenix costume, you know, with the yellow in the middle and then the red limbs, as like a kind of a modernization of her mom's, you know, of the Dave Cockrum Dark Phoenix one. The weird like Phoenix feather effects have never really. I think it would have worked better in modern color, like where you could have done those lines in yellow and or red. But the weird like tri-horned feather head of a phoenix, it doesn't really always look good in black line. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And then her face with just these lines in it, I think it always just gets muddy. Like look at that, the top panel on this page where she's running forward. Her face is just a mess. It prints up as a mess because the lines are so close together. And of course, the Essentials edition, which I happen to have right here, it's neat and tidy and a little more precise, but that's not the way things were printed.
Right.
So whenever they try to render all these lines on her face, combine that with her spiky hair, it kind of is a mess of a design. And this is maybe one of the weaker areas of Romita's toolkit.
And on another point here, on the page on the left, on the fourth panel, where you see Wolverine's claws.
I know you mentioned that.
With the little hooks.
Well, I wouldn't.
Face drawn.
I think that those are meant to represent the curvature of the claw.
I agree.
And it reads as little hooks at the end.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun how. Sorry, please continue.
I was going to say it happens sometimes with Wolverine throughout multiple artists where there is an artistic attempt to demonstrate curvature and it doesn't always land.
Right. This looks more like, sorry to go deep on the G.I. Joe here, looks more like the accessory that came with the second version of Storm Shadow.
Oh, yeah, the second version for sure.
He came with one piece that was for scaling exterior walls, like the brick, like that ninja claw piece that you used to climb.
Yeah.
So that reminds me of that piece that I was introduced to through Storm Shadow version 2. Version 1 did not come with that. He only came with nunchucks, 2 swords, and a bow.
And a whole lot of attitude.
Yeah, I mean, what a great figure. So, yeah, it's fun how different artists have tried to render the claws differently. Like some have, obviously, sharp edge. Romita Jr. has gone for those almost like round all the way, as does Barry Windsor Smith. Like there isn't an edge to them. But Miller, when he draws them, it's like giant knives coming out of his hands.
Right.
So, you know, it's fun to do it that different way. Is there a way that you prefer? I imagine the movies have solidified your view of
the movie claws I'm a fan of for sure.
Yeah,
for sure, including the sound effect. You know, they got the snicked right. You know, it's all
of course.
They got the snicked right, and they got the bamf right. Okay, the next two,
and the snicked and snacked,
exactly. The retraction, exactly.
But how can I deny the evidence before my own eyes? Like Wolverine, I was the best there was at what I did. What I did is obscene. I betrayed my own kind. I helped the government capture mutants imprisoned them in concentration camps, and killed so many of them. When at last I was of no more use, the government sent me to the camp. Figured I'd be slaughtered by inmates as a traitor. I deserved it. But the surviving X-Men took me in. They protected me. Storm, bless her, said she understood. Kitty and the others forgave me. All of them, save one. Our world was dying, our race destroyed. One by one, those few remaining X-Men were killed, until I was left alone. Somehow I used my power as Phoenix to escape into the past. I fled to the time before I was born, hoping, praying for a chance to prevent this apocalypse. Hey, that should be the name of a villain. I sought out the X-Men, and again, they took me in. They became my family. For the first time in my memory, I found myself at peace. I was happy. How could I be back where I started, unless I never left? Was my life with the X-Men a dream, a fantasy I created to escape the reality that had become too terrible to bear? No, no, no! True, it has to. Second chance. I can never make up for the awful things I've done. Like wearing that awesome transforming watch.
That's right. I was going to say, don't worry. The Transformer's here to help you.
Now, this whole page, the print registration is off on my copy. I wonder how it is on the one you've got there. Oh, it looks not bad. Okay. So on mine, the yellow plate is off, so the whole thing is blurry.
Oh, wow.
It's like, it's going for 3D, but yeah, the yellow is off by many millimeters. It's like significant.
Okay.
Anyway. Too late, Red. Wolverine, please! Debts aren't so easily paid. The scale is so simply balanced. Some crimes, Rachel Summers, can't be forgiven. His claws are adamantium, the strongest metal known, so keenly honed that a mere flick of his wrist can slash them through a steel girder. That is an awesome drawing of Wolverine, by the way. Both of those. Like, I could read, I like that.
Yeah, it strikes me almost as the way, how he's silhouetted there. Almost looks like he has, like, hair, like whether it's feathers or wings based on that ink splash on his shoulders in the second panel there. It's great. He looks very animalistic. I like it.
Yeah, me too. There is pain as they pierce her heart, but she barely notices. Her torment at last is over. Her burden can be laid down. The ghosts will be forever silent as she finally joins them. Then she wakes up. And her first thoughts are full of bitter regret. For in her heart of hearts, a still small voice snarls, "You're better off dead."
Whoa.
Better people deserve to survive. Why did it have to be me? It's not fair. Why now, when I finally found things to care for, a family, friends to cherish? Am I so miserable and ashamed? It's like the more I gain, the worse I feel. It's crazy. So maybe I am too. My reflection, my hound face, go away! You're the creature that's dead, not Rachel Summers, but the murdering animal the government turned her into. You no longer exist. I deny you.
Rachel, you heard the cry. Are you all right? Your mic is cutting out there.
Oh, really? Sorry.
That's okay. There you go.
How's it now? Is it okay?
Much better. Oh, yeah.
I'm just looking at the comments to see if anyone else is saying that. I'm sorry if it was bugging you guys. This isn't my room in our mansion. Where are we? Pull yourself together, girl. You mustn't let them see how rattled you are. No problem, guys. Just a bad dream.
It must have been a beaut.
I guess I got so scared I lost control of my TK.
You know, Ray, the X-Men are guests here in the Morlock tunnels. This is someone's room. You're wearing borrowed clothes, and this mirror is probably a prized possession. Great way to repay the Morlock's hospitality.
I'm sorry, Kitty. It was an accident.
Sometimes, Rachel, being sorry isn't enough. And a person with your powers can't afford accidents.
Who does she think she is? Talking to me that way. Except she's right. When I lose control of myself, I can do untold harm. I don't mean to, but I can't help myself. But maybe this time I can fix. Ah, good try. She didn't do it. But that's a neat idea that there's all those images there and,
Yeah.
all watching her fail. It's pretty powerful.
It's a great image anyway. That great panel with all the
Yeah.
the cuts, the glass.
Matters to You says, I agree the definition on those claws is odd. And it draws the eyes to Rachel's muddy features. Yeah. Chuck is noticing all the skulls in the wall in the lower left panel. Yes, those are skulls. And, it was a nightmare scene, so that really added to that flavor. Matters to You adds, I like the yellow at least against the red, forming the Phoenix pattern better than the all red costume prior. Yeah, me too. Wish Colossus went to this look to his acolyte's garb. I like the transition better than him switching to a semi-classic look again for a time. I don't know his acolyte's garb. I wonder when and if we will ever get there. Does he become like when we say acolytes, are they the dudes that follow Magneto? Or I don't know. Well, I'll learn down the road. Anyway.
Oh wow, that is some garb. Wow.
Did you look it up?
I did. And
What?
It's almost like apocalypsy. It's got like shoulder pads and a whole bunch of stuff here. Cape.
Oh, yeah, Asteroid M. Okay, that's right. So the acolytes are those dudes up there on Asteroid M. That's going to be years from now in our weekly read.
Okay.
Nearby, Rachel, what are you doing, girl? To me, to yourself. Those cuts across the face, you don't see that often in kids' comics. That's good.
He looks beaten up.
Yeah. Dragging me into your nightmares. Killing us both. Gotta stop. Ugh.
Wolverine! Nightcrawler, come quick! I heard you here, Rogue. He's reopened his wounds. Herr Strom attend to this idiot. We always believed Wolverine's mutant healing power could cope with any wound, but his battle with Deathstrike coming on top of the X-Men struggle against the Beyonder may prove us wrong. Nightcrawler sounds really worried. I wonder we've all felt a little weird lately. To fight the Beyonder, Rachel increased her own strength by absorbing the X-Men's life essences. She restored us, but who can say there aren't any after effects? Wish we were home. Been in these tunnels too long, and I miss the sun. We brought him here to the Morlock healer, but Wolvie's still too weak to be moved, and none of us want to leave him. So we're stuck among the Morlocks till he's safe. Real strange crowd, this gang of mutants. I like to dress wild, but they mark their faces too, like it's their outlaw colors, a badge of defiance against a world they figure hates them. They made this alley their home, a model beneath Manhattan streets. They and the X-Men used to be enemies, but Storm won the mantle of leadership from their warlord, Callisto.
Rogue passes along Nightcrawler's message, and then...
Morning, Rachel. Cute threads. I like your style.
Thanks, Rogue. When in Rome, I guess. Dressed like a Roman.
Suits you.
How's Wolverine? He lives. And without another word, Storm turns her back on Rachel and continues her discussion with Callisto. Well, excuse me, lady. She's shutting me out of her mind as well. All the X-Men have closed their thoughts to me.
Are you really surprised, Sugar? After that stunt you pulled in San Francisco, when you used our life essences to fight the Yonder?
I believed I was right, Rogue.
Ain't the point. You asked for my help and I gave it. You didn't ask Colossus or Wolverine. Storm said no. You took her life force anyway. And while you asked Shadowcat, the kid's wondering now if that decision was really her own.
Do you believe I'd force such a choice?
You're a telepath, Ray. At that time, one of the most powerful in creation. You were driven desperately, absolutely fanatically sure of what you were doing. Can you truly say your subconscious wasn't prompting us to make the choice you wanted?
The air is sweet, scented with jasmine and high mountain pine, deliciously crisp and cool. She has never known such beauty, such serenity of body and soul, such peace.
Hey, you know how we were talking about this idea that there are characteristics, archetypes of characters that, when mixed together, when put in the perfect mix, the great stories come out of that with X-Men, and certainly from a team dynamic, right? We've talked about Nightcrawler and the Swashbuckler, and perhaps that's represented later in other characters like Longshot or Gambit or whatever it happens to be. So I'm just kind of picking up a little bit now where, we went through the Rogue, we don't trust you, but now you're part of, you have to prove yourself, now you're part of the team. It feels like we're back in that territory with Rachel. Rachel's just doing things that are creating suspicion amongst her teammates.
Yeah, she's undermined herself, right?
Right.
But
is that one of those, character mixes, right? You've got the character who has to prove itself or prove themselves.
Yeah, the outsider.
Mm-hmm.
So to your point, what you were saying is that we were discussing this idea that while an identity or whatever we want to call them, a character, as they go through their arc, they take on and let go of certain dynamics, certain characteristics that set them apart from other members in the team. Like when Storm and Colossus join the X-Men, they're both really naive and innocent and don't have experience in the West. They're both fish out of water and having the coming of age story. Well, they've both gone through enough. They're no longer going through the coming of age story. They're no longer fish out of water. They both are quite savvy and good at what they do, and there doesn't seem to be much of a story for Colossus these days at all. Right. Doesn't seem to have any arc. So these characteristics of the dynamic between characters seems to pass from character to character as they go through their arc. And Storm is a very different character than she was when she started, and other people take on some of those characteristics. So the outsider on the team definitely has gone from Rogue over to Rachel, but maybe it only works if it only goes on so long. Mm-hmm. Maybe there are a few of these kind of like these criteria. Rogue won us, you and I, over pretty quick. Like 172, 173, we were on board with her. Maybe after 4 issues of her being on the book. Mm-hmm. Rachel's been on the book for a long time, and I'm having real trouble connecting with her. I want her to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what she's adding. She seems like at any point she's going to be a liability, which always frustrates me anyway. But maybe there's the other part of it where Claremont also goes back to the well on us fearing a female character's limitations.
Okay.
Well, with Dark Phoenix. Remember also when there's like Dark Storm, where she goes like Rogue Storm, and she like connects with the entire universe with her powers. And you don't remember that? It happened twice. Once when they were with way out in space with binary, and also with those like space whales, and
Oh
she was
yes,
like she connected on this huge grand
yes.
scale. But there's always this thing that they might lose control and not come back the same, or might turn into a destroyer of worlds. Of course, that was what Phoenix. That was the story with Dark Phoenix. Um, and I'm not sure. I'm sure there is like a really sound feminist reading on it about Claremont um, discussing like women's power. But even just ignoring that for the moment and looking at just as characters that have these unlimited powers, kind of, I find generally I don't connect well with characters who don't have a more defined power set. I love when people push themselves beyond their limits. That's like my favorite thing is when, Cap is getting his ass kicked and he says, I can do this all day. And he can't. And he's at any next punch, like his jaw is going to fall off. And, he tries to find that one extra ounce. The same with my love of, the NHL playoffs. I want to see guys play when, they can't
Missing
take
teeth.
off their own.
Yeah.
When they have missing teeth and they're so beat up they can't even get their gear off at the end of the game. I love that part of it. And with a character like Dark Phoenix, or in this case, Rachel Summers Phoenix, she doesn't seem to have a ceiling to her abilities. So I can't really, like when she does push, it's just because Claremont says she pushes. It doesn't feel authentic to me. So I'm having trouble with her, but we'll see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So Gary is asking, is there a way you can show each panel closer up as you read them? Probably there is a way. I bet you it would slow us down considerably unless we ahead of time created images, but then we were cycling through. That would definitely allow you to read along with us much more clearly. So yes, it is possible. I don't think we're going to do it for two reasons. One, I'm using a giant monitor, so things are really big here. They're probably half the size of a real comic on my computer. And for those of you on a smartphone or tablet, sorry for that. It won't work as easily. But I'm also going to lean on Gestalt theory and say there is a real benefit to seeing a page or a spread as a whole and taking in the entire composition, not just the narrative of each panel, because that is the way that, again, they're intended to be seen. When we do read a comic book in print, our eye is taking in the entire page. Even if we focus on one panel, you can still, with your peripheral vision, see the entire spread. And it impacts the way we read, the way our eyes jump around. And so I'm going to stick to this format for the time being, for A, convenience and speed, but B, also for Gestalt theory, a Gestalt experience. All right, but fair. I mean, I get it for sure. So now we're in Japan.
Yes, we are.
Perhaps. Too wondrous, she thinks. Too good to last. She's right. What? The main gate. The palace is under attack. Phoenix. No better girl than to try to hide from me. This isn't real. It's just another dream. That doesn't matter. He knows my thoughts. I'm part of them, Rachel. As you made yourself part of mine when you stole my life essence. You should have asked, babe. Go away! Leave me alone, please! The initial dream came mostly from my head, my own memories. This setting's Japanese. I must be drawing the images from Wolverine's. If I wake myself up, if I break the psionic rapport that binds us together, I can save myself. Nothing's happening. I can't break free. Wolverine, don't. We're friends. Friendship involves trust. You betrayed mine.
Another great Wolverine feral silhouette there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love the one on the other page where his costume is destroyed. He's full of splinters and cuts and
Mhm.
everything. He's just torn to shreds.
And see there, that
Yes.
last panel with you can see the curvature of the claws, but it just comes off as a bit more crisper.
Yeah. No, the ones on the last panel where he's
Mhm.
slashed through with a backslash. That means like the top part is ablaze as well. Like it's sharp on both sides, which I think is why he goes with that rounded look. But yeah, there's no hook to them. Like that was much too drastic a curve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where? An alley, the surface, but how? Don't remember. Must have wandered up here, fallen asleep. Doesn't matter. I'm still alive. Hooray for me. Look at those people, stupid, complacent humans. Oh, you lost me, kid. How often have the X-Men saved your pathetic lives? Saved the world, the entire universe. Yet you're still scared of us. So many of you hate us. Not as people, as individuals, but simply because of what we are. Mutants. All we're left with, all we can depend on is each other and Monica's Deli.
That's right. The best deli in this hellhole apocalypse.
The best.
Right?
Stupid, complacent humans working at Monica's Deli.
If you're looking for a smoked meat sandwich in a hellscape, which is future New York, Monica's Deli is the one.
Monica's Deli.
Monica's Deli.
Now I don't even have that. I wanted more than anything for the X-Men to be my friends, to accept me as part of their family. It took their essences to save them. Why couldn't they see that I was right? Why couldn't I have died in my own time with everyone I loved? For all my powers, the best I could manage here is to make a royal botch of everything. I figured I was going to save the future single-handed. Ha! Wake up, baby. Face reality. I tried to supercharge Wolverine's healing powers, as I did once before, X-Men 202. But this time it didn't work. I only made things worse. Maybe that's what's intensified our link, our dream link. I'm useless. A total waste. A loser. Okay, that panel, by the way, there is so much going on in the background of that, and it's tiny, tiny, tiny. But Romita and Dan Green are able to convey so much great street atmosphere with, they're using like 3 colors or 4 colors and just a little bit of line work. It's gorgeous, like real craft there.
Yeah. Great page in general.
Yeah, I mean, some good drawing there, especially Monica's Deli.
Monica's Deli.
The air is pure because the world is young, a place with infinite possibilities. But she has no time for the stark elemental beauty that surrounds her. She is too busy running for her life. This isn't fair. Why can't I sleep in peace? Why do I have to endure these awful dreams? Wolverine, wherever you are, I'm sorry. Rain have yet to soften the landscape's sharp edges. Mountains rear high above the prairies. Their slopes are steep. She falls, she thinks forever, but survives. That's her knack, the most hated gift, survival. But everyone but her dies. She's left to bear the pain. My hound mask and costume. No, 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 no! Claws at her face, yet no blood is drawn. Okay, just looking at like these 2 pages as a spread, different color palette, like you get those browns and greens in the first half, and then into the night. That awesome. I really love that panel. But here, like those oranges and purples, really cool. Really cool. Chuck says, Monica's Deli, the best and only delicatessen in future hellscapes. Michael asks, is there a full story arc showing Rachel becoming a hound, or just a panel here and there.
Good question.
I don't want to spoil, but there is much, much more. Much more. We even are going to eventually be introduced. I'm spoiling here. Even get introduced to like the Hound Master.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Also known as Master Hound.
Master Hound, known as Ahab. We'll get there. We'll get there. There's time. Yes, the last panel on the left is a transition to the other color palette. Agreed. It's just beautiful, beautiful. Big fan. Yet no blood is drawn. My skin, my clothes, shredding to bits. And underneath, the real me? Summers that might have been. Is this my second chance? Can I start over? Begin again? Oh, please let it be so. Forgetting something red. Wolverine! I'm different now, see? That's what you think.
Yo, sweetheart.
I killed him.
Yo.
The me I dreamed of being, the happy, normal girl, blasted him without hesitation or mercy.
You okay, hun? You crying?
I'm just reading the graffiti here.
Raoul.
East Side Bad Girl.
East Side
Nice.
Bad Girl.
There's some good stuff there. Death to Muties. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
A bad dream.
Subways ain't for sleeping. That's asking for trouble.
I can take care of myself.
A tough little lady, huh?
It also says Godzilla rules.
I was going to say Godzilla rules, yeah. And punks.
I'm not sure what the
Sure.
second word is supposed to be.
Not sure, but it's
There's
got a
Flipper.
Z after punks, so you know it's
Yes.
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dry your eyes. I'm Jerry. What's your name? Yo, folks know you're out so late.
My parents are dead.
I'm sorry. You on the run?
No. And I'm clean, officer. I don't do drugs.
Ah, good for you. Look, how about I scrounge you a place to crash and a decent meal, and then tomorrow... No, hold it. Wait. Come back. Let me help.
I telekinetically tripped him. By the time he entangles himself, okay, look at the graffiti above the door of the subway car.
What does it say?
You can't see it?
Oh, it says Jason.
It says Jason!
Nice.
Woo-hoo!
Nice.
I finally made it into an X-Men comic. Oh my god. I feel so good. Oh, I gotta go tell my family. This is so good. What a moment. By the time he untangles himself, I'll be long gone. I'm downtown, Soho. This block looks familiar. I've been here before. Yes! And the graffiti here says, abandon hope, all ye who enter here. And there's also some other stuff. And it says, Christopher.
Yay.
It does not.
Oh, poop.
Months ago, the night I met the X-Men, there was a loft here, then a man's home. But it's ashes and he's dead because of me.
That's right.
Remember that dude they got in the hot tub and stuff?
Oh, well, I didn't remember until I turned the page.
The policeman was kind, like him. He reminds me a lot of I can see his face clear as can be. Why can't I remember his name? I ran into his club. He took me home. His thoughts were gentle. He meant no harm. He was really concerned about me. While he made dinner, I had a bath. It was wonderful. But then, suddenly, his psionic presence vanished. I couldn't sense him anywhere. He was dead, murdered by an evil mutant, a sort of vampire. Celine. She desired me as her heir, and nearly got me too, but the X-Men drove her away. Afterwards, I learned she joined the Hellfire Club as their newest Black Queen. It says 184, so we had her like 20 issues, right?
Yes.
And almost actually 24 issues. So it really has been 2 years of this. And I'm gonna double down on that idea that it's taking too long for us to really, for her to not be the outsider anymore.
Right.
Where worked so successfully with Rogue. The man that befriended me at the cost of his life, or that man befriended me at the cost of his life, and I'd forgotten his name. A little failure to stand beside the big one. It's past time I did something right and evened the score. At that moment, in the Morlock's tunnels.
That's Kitty, I think, yeah?
Yeah.
Storm, X-Men, come quickly. Wolverine is gone. The dope. Should be hard to find, though, in his condition. He's lucky he can stand. Storm, I just checked Ray's room. She's split too. Her bed hasn't been slept in. She must have taken off yesterday, and none of us even noticed.
Country's free, brat. Come and go as they please.
But Callisto? Last time I spoke to Ray, she was pretty bummed out. And truth to tell, none of us were making things any easier for her. I think that's Storm, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This double disappearance may or may not be coincidence. But Wolverine must take precedence. We can allow ourselves the luxury of worrying about Rachel after we have found him. Want the Morlocks to join in, Wind Rider? Thank you, Callisto. Your aid is appreciated. Later,
Ba-ding!
at the Monarch Towers, Friedrich von Rome?
Yeah, but who?
I'm an acquaintance of your goddess Selene, and you're going to take me to her. Not long afterward, the Hellfire Club, haven for the richest, most powerful tycoons on Earth, whose secret inner circle plots to achieve total domination of the world. The newly appointed Black Rook arrives with his latest companion. There is a moment at the door when ice closes about Rachel's heart. She's been here before. Suppose she's recognized. Okay, Chubbs, you've done your bit. Zone out till I need you again.
Yeah.
I love that, like, there's just bedrooms you can just go to. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're just going to go in here.
It's that kind of club, you know?
It really is. It really is. Oh, as a kid, you're like, oh, it's a hotel. Okay, I understand. He left his home to go to a hotel.
A hotel.
Okay.
A hotel. You rang for a maid, Mr. Von Wood?
Don't mind him. I'm the one who needs you. Her thoughts told me all I need to know. She'll sleep till morning as well, and her uniform should get me the rest of the way unchallenged. Only one of the Lord's Cardinal is in residence, Selene, the Black Queen, in her suite on the 3rd floor. A shame. I was hoping for more, but I guess I have to start somewhere. Close my shields tight around my mind. To a casual telepath scan, irradiate the same psi pattern as I'm made. All is quiet. Selene has no idea I'm here. She's in for a big surprise. Look at the witch. So vulnerable, so innocent, so deceitful. For eons she's preyed on humanity, slaughtering her victims without mercy, terrorizing those who survived. This moment's long overdue, and now she aspires to be the Black Queen. That was my mother's title. When Mastermind seduced her soul and turned her against the X-Men, she fought her way free, but emerged transformed into Dark Phoenix. because of this accursed club. People like you. You're responsible for untold misery. And if not stopped, you'll cause more. But this is right? For a moment, only a few weeks ago, I followed in my mom's footsteps. I became Phoenix, and through that power, one with the universe. I beheld life in all its myriad glory. I couldn't kill then. Can I do so now? That was different. Those were innocent lives. The Hellfire Club is evil. Its inner circle, these lords cardinal, chose to be what they are. This is no less than they deserve.
What? Under attack? Psychic and physical, but who?
You don't remember me, Celine? I'm hurt. Of course, since then I've changed a bit. Unfortunately for you.
The mutant girl, the X-Men's ward, Rachel. I knew she possessed awesome potential, but she never dreamed would be so quickly realized. She radiates such power. It's like battling a living star. But I am not without resources of my own. I can animate every object in this room.
Big deal. That's a good-looking page, by the way.
It is a great looking page. Yeah. I need time to recover my strength, to plan. The floor will hold her fast until...
You caught me this way when we first met. This time, I'm ready. For it, for all your tricks. Do you recall that night, vampire? The man you killed? For no other reason than that he was kind to me?
Nicholas Damiano. A courageous heart, a noble soul. His essence fed me well.
You know his name.
I honor him, yes, as I do all whom I slay, as I shall you. He had meaning to me as he obviously had none for you, else you would have remembered.
From time immemorial, Celine has dreaded, yearned for this moment. When she finally faces a foe worthy of her, capable even of destroying her. She gazes into her young foe's heart and soul to behold a hunger, a dark solitude that rivals her own, coupled with a rage that will not be denied. Within Celine's rooms, all is primordial chaos. Without, there isn't a sign that anything's amiss, until the lights go out. And the fire alarm sounds. Immediately, Steph and members race for the exits. In the confusion, no one notices a shadowed figure slip wraith-like in the other direction. You lose, Celine. Your reign of darkness is over. Your countless victims are, at last, about to be avenged. Rachel! Stop, darling, before it's too late. Wolverine! Take you home. No! Not real. You're from my dream. You're chasing, always hunting. Kill me. Why, Logan? What have I done to fill you with such hate? Nothing. Yet. A trick. She's playing with my mind. It's yours to make you save her. But I'd know it if she did. She's helpless. Then show mercy. To her, never. Wolverine, no court, no human law can touch her. If I don't punish her, stop her, no one will. Maybe so. But who appointed you judge, jury, and executioner? Bold talk, little man, from a natural killer. That's right. That's something we have in common. We both killed. Odds are we'll kill again. But this, Rachel, this is murder. Justify it, rationalize it however you like. It's still wrong. It isn't worthy of you, as Rachel or Phoenix. and sure as blazes isn't worthy of an X-Man. I don't care. You should. You better. We call ourselves heroes, girl. That means we have to stand for something. No matter how hard or how much it hurts, we represent the dream. My dreams are nightmares. We have to play by the rules. Phoenix makes her own rules. This is your last warning. I won't ask again. Come away, Rachel. Please. And know that people will die because I did. I know enough ghosts. Too many ghosts. I won't allow it anymore. No way to stop me, Logan. Kill me.
Sound effect.
Fade to black.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Retribution. Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, with this kind of story, what Claremont's thinking. I don't mean that in a bad way at all, but like what the story structure is kind of interesting. These dream echoes. So she's not exactly sure in this last moment if it's really him. You know, she has that moment where she kind of doubts it. Whoop, no, not the view I wanted. We'll try again. There we go. I find it, interesting. Like, it's all coming down to, I guess, this moment where she's gonna kill and Wolverine and her just have that ideological disagreement. I like the idea of him hunting her in her dreams for a couple nights.
Very, very, very Freddy Krueger of him.
Yeah.
I was gonna say too. There's been multiple times where do it, Logan, kill me. Gene, no, I can't. Right, and it's like, right. Daughter, no problem, just right there.
Yeah, he's not into her the way he was with Gene.
Yeah, no.
Hey, Trevor is here. Wants a shooter. From time immemorial, classic Claremont phrase. Yeah, as I was reading it, I was thinking the same thing. Hey, Mass is here too. Logan, no!
Ooh. Gene,
it's
I mean Rachel. Oh.
One knock on this 2-page spread, and here's like the reason I mentioned about the taking it all in. There are way too many repetitive images here. I do get that, like, we're supposed to, we get the side views, which are fine. I don't mind those. Wolverine on the right and Rachel on the left. Like, that's cool with me, especially in those last two. And then the ones with Celine, those are good. And, the view of the room. But 3 Wolverine faces kind of almost the same. And 3 Rachel faces kind of almost the same. And they're each kind of distorted, weird. He has her eyes too close together a lot. I find, like, especially on page 23 or whatever it is. I actually can't read the page number without opening the issue. Anyway, the one on the left, I find like her face is just weird. I really don't like those black lines.
Yeah.
They're like, it's not a mask. I'm not sure. I don't dig it. But those last 3 panels, or the last 2, not counting the snicked, those are good. Chuck says, I have to say that I don't love the JR layout pages, but I found these last 2 pages really good storytelling. Yeah, he's a very, very clear storyteller. Claremont sometimes throws him under the bus by overwriting certain things, and sometimes JR is up against that deadline. Like, that is just my context for him always is that he is the one that obeys. He obeys the shipping schedule and all of his deadlines, and he can draw exceptionally well when he has time, and he has just found that style that really works with how much time he has, keeping in mind that his mom is the one that calls everyone at Marvel to get their pages in on time, and his father's the art director. So he's in a spot where he's not just like living up to the visual aesthetic of his dad. He's living up to just the career of being a Marvel guy and supporting the company. The joke, I don't think we mentioned it on the air last time. But the only time Romita Sr. ever took a day off
Yeah, you shared
was
that.
did I tell the story here or was it in person? I think I told it between you, me, and Chip on the
Oh,
weekend.
maybe that's it then. Yeah.
So the only time Romita Sr. ever took a day off at Marvel was the weekend after he had visited Toronto. And I said Toronto with the extra T at the end for those who are not from here, so you could clearly tell what I was talking about, as if I'm speaking to an international audience. He was visiting Toronto, and he did signings at a couple comic book stores called the Silver Snail. And he was supposed to stay for a very short period of time, but there was such a huge lineup. It was in honor of the wedding issue of Amazing Spider-Man between Peter Parker and Mary Jane. And he signed for so many hours and was like such an amazing ambassador that he wasn't able to go to work on Monday morning. And the editors at Marvel called, or like his rep called, and was yelling at the staff of the Snail, gave him shit for breaking John Romita, who hadn't missed a day of work in like 25 years, kind of thing. So his son, John Romita Jr., I think he really carries that professionalism of working for this publisher and really being part of that. And he definitely sacrifices his sense of detail and doesn't go back and correct things when he could. If you ever want to see him draw more, you can get a lot of his pencils online. Especially, I know I have a good bunch of them in a volume of Enemy of the State. There's a good hardcover of that series with tons of pencils in the back of it, and you can see like this guy can draw like a demon. He's fantastically good, and I know that is also 20 years later. To this point, though, his pencils get scanned and used, I believe, in his work on Thorion. And yes, I said Thorion. So that is when Marvel and DC do an amalgam. By the way, Chris, you're on mute. Just letting you know. Maybe it's intentional. Um, when Marvel and DC do the amalgam comics, they mash up Thor and Orion, which make total sense. They're both Kirby characters. And I believe that's J.R.'s maybe debut of just scanning his pencils. And they seem to work really well in that series. But you and I did get to see, I won't say for what, we did get to see some J.R. pencils over the weekend as well on a phone. But still,
Very cool.
that was pretty cool. And his pencils are great. So I know he can draw better than the 1980s deadlines allowed him to showcase. Yeah. Chuck says, right, I'm sure that his layouts are part of house style. Part just getting work done, but they aren't generally very dynamic, except when they are. Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of times he takes like a pretty house style bland route, and then he'll just drop a gem on you. And that's part of the JR magic. And we'll see down the road again when he gets to Daredevil Not Born Again, excuse me, Man Without Fear. That might be a little more dynamic regularly. I think I've read, a ton of his books over the years. Up until his recent run on Spidey, I really enjoyed his stuff. But I need to see him come of age on his own during these X-Men books. Next issue, of course, will be 208. And we will see what happens between him and Rachel.
What do we think is going to happen after the snicked?
Did you read ahead, Chris?
No, I never read.
I don't know, man. Sometimes you might have a hankering.
No, I don't.
It'll be a few more issues still with young Ramita, and then of course, as the legend goes, over to Starbrand.
Starbrand.
I don't think they're going to make out. We're referring to, of course, Rachel and Wolverine.
Oh.
But if they do, Chuck, I will be definitely playing both roles in that scene. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Sound effects.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. There you go. Any other news you want to discuss, my friend?
No. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, our next appearances are coming up October.
We're not there 6th.
We're not there yet, though, right?
We're not there yet. No, that's still coming. Matters to You says, Rachel look would be more defined if she were created in a modern book. I bet the colors on her face would blend to look like the Flame. 100%. I also think a stronger costume designer would have probably brought something interesting to the game other than John Romita Jr. Senior does great costumes. Of course, created a look for Wolverine, Punisher, and many, many, many more. So we don't ever look down on his work when it comes to costume design, character design. But Junior, I find, leaves something to be desired. There is one bit of Wolverine action figure.
Okay.
The Hasbro announced last week on Friday that they're going to be doing a Secret Wars wave on a Secret Wars retro card.
Oh.
And I did not prep slides for this. My apologies. I really should have. But there's going to be, they're bringing up the Mattel card art, and they're doing modern versions of it, that classic font and everything. And the characters are coming with the shields that those Secret Wars figures came with. And even Iron Man comes with a grippy hand, which he never does, and the blaster that figure came with, and roller skates, which he does use in Secret Wars. So there will be 6 figures in the wave, and the Wolverine is like, the right colors, the right design to match that original figure, which was the first Wolverine figure ever in 1984 or so. So I'm, again, super excited to get another Wolverine, and I might even have to get 2 because I kind of want to keep one on the card. But anyway.
Do you have, knowing your favorite characters, you must have more Wolverines than Batmans, because you got more Batmans than Wolverines?
I'm sure I have over 100 Batman.
Okay. I was just trying to think of good Batman sculpts. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well,
and I feel like we talked
right
about
behind me.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I have one that is based on Darwin Cook art.
Yeah,
I'm going to get it for you.
No, I know it is.
And then I have a Mezco in soft goods based on Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. So those are both different and amazing in their own right. But in terms of 6-inch, fully posable, like a Marvel Legends, I have yet to come across one that I love, but I have picked up countless over the last 30 years. I mean, I've been buying Batman figures actively since probably 93 or 4. I'm trying to find like that one that really just makes me feel great. And I've acquired so many, but also don't forget there'd be like Batman lines or just Batman for the animated series, and it's all just different color variations for every movie. There'd be 3 or 4 or 5. So I have tubs just of Batman, and my oldest one goes back to when I was, yay high, like a toddler or just a little older, and the superpowers, and I have more than I can count.
That Batman '89 with like the utility belt would be like right?
Yeah, I got a couple of those. Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
But my favorites are probably the 2 that are behind me, and then I like those ones that are based off Bruce Timm's artwork too.
I've got one of those, like the new Batman Adventures or something like that.
Yeah, like that.
It looks
I probably have a couple of those. I have so many. I mean, I was even with my daughter counting how many Bat Caves I have. Like it's not okay.
Okay.
And a lot of Batmobiles, but yeah, I easily have more than 20 Wolverines. I'm sure. Given that he has all those movie ones too. Iron Man, Captain America, those as well, because of all the MCU, like every costume difference. I love those movies, right? So it's been a big challenge to try to moderate, but they have me. I'm hooked. What am I going to do? Ali says, part of the internet that I dig has been melting down over Tim Seeley's upcoming Savage Land mini. Just throwing this out there as something to talk about. Tell me about the Savage Land mini. I don't know anything about it. I know that there is a Wolverine like Revenge miniseries going on right now. Greg Capullo on art, and I don't remember who's writing it. Is that the Tim Seeley one? But I don't know. Allie, you're gonna have to help me out with that because I'm not sure. But when it comes to Wolverine figures, I'm definitely game for another couple over the years. Brown suited Wolverine. I do have this one, which I put in the pose of that cover as best I could. Oh, but of course, his clawed hands are downstairs. I like having ones. I like having them with the claws because these older ones, the claws aren't that great. But this brown is way too dark for what
It
was in the
is.
comics. Oh, eventually, you guys will get to Uncanny X-Men 274. True, we will eventually get to 274.
I mean, sure, yeah.
It's it's inevitable. Rogue focused many of her adventures in the Savage Land. Oh, gotcha. So this goes back to that time. Oh, the one focusing on Rogue and Magneto. Right. So I guess, minor criticism, and we'll see if this is grounded in anything important here. Um, it seems like a lot of modern comics love to mine material from older comics and find those gaps between. And that's something I love too. Don't get me wrong. Like Winter Soldier is one of my favorite sort of modern creations. That was because those creators mined material and expanded on things between the pages. So this is fleshing out that time period where Rogue is in the Savage Land with Magneto. And I only read those issues, during, I guess, the last 2 years, and I found it wasn't a lot of anything. Like there wasn't a lot in those issues. That was the Jim Lee drawing and Chris Claremont scripting over what Jim Lee put on the page. So I guess there must be some creative room to go back and tell some things. But you're saying the internet has been melting down over it. I'm going to guess that there's a relationship dynamic that is not okay or contradicts people's investment in the Gambit Rogue dynamic. One of those two things is my guess, but I haven't seen those issues. I will go to a comic store, probably Wayside, tomorrow to visit. I have some business to attend to in Newmarket, and I'll pop by with Omar and let me see if I can get my hands on one of those comics and see what all the fuss is about. High five, Massimo. I love Rogue. This is Allie. I love Rogue and Gambit and their relationship, but I always loved that era. I would love to see more of it. And then she says, yes, exactly, Jason. Oh, there you go. So in the meantime, Chris, I hope you and your lovely wife travel safely. I know you have a little trip planned.
We do, yeah.
Enjoy. Travel safe. Enjoy every minute of it. Will you be back in time for next episode?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, because I'm worried. I'm very worried. It happens. I get nervous about these things. Of course, you were right. October 5th, Whitby, Ontario will be at Whitby FanCon. And that will be tons of fun. There's a great list of creators that will be there. And I'm looking forward to seeing our readers in the East End as well. Pizza. But as well.
Yeah.
Are you up for finishing that game?
Oh, absolutely.
So last year we went and we played the X-Men arcade game and we got near the end. You, me, and Jerome.
Yeah.
This year, we're going to add in a fourth.
Yeah.
Fourth X-Men. I think it's Nelson.
And yeah.
We are we're going to destroy that game.
Hey, I just also realized something. Tomorrow, new comic book day, X-Men related, friend of the show, guest of the show, Jason Lowe debuts Dazzler #1, writing on Dazzler #1, the miniseries. So that is very cool. X fans out there. Jason's been on the show a number of times, and so this is his first. Well, no, he did some other X multiple man stuff previously, but this is his first ongoing limited X series. So there you go.
Yeah, in print.
In print, yes, good call.
So he did comics on the Marvel Unlimited.
That's right.
Space.
That's very cool.
It's a big deal for Jason. So yeah, everyone out there, go pick up your Dazzler issues tomorrow and support Jason and his creative endeavor. He is the nicest guy and a very creative soul. His remarks that he's been posting are adorable too. They're really, really interesting. I'm looking forward to that. So that should be very cool. October 27th will be in Newmarket, Ontario at the Wayside Creator Con, which will be at Market Brewing. It'll be at a brewery, so it's going to be comics and pints.
Yeah,
that should be fantastic. Looking forward to that one too. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Previously in X-Men. Thank you to my good buddy, writer of Group of Seven Comics and of Peregrines, Chris Sanagan. Thank you, Chris. And you can find more about our comics and upcoming appearances, of course, at groupofsevencomics.ca. Follow us at Group of Seven Comics on social media. And please click like and subscribe to the channel. Throw a comment in the video. It really makes a big difference. It helps boost our numbers. Maybe one day we'll get to 400. That would be amazing. And
on our way.
Throw your take, how you feel about Rachel Summers, or even how you feel about Rogue and Magneto, whatever you want to do. But just throw it in the comments below, and we hope that you have enjoyed, and we will see you again next time. So thank you very much for being here. Everyone out there, you stay Xy, and thanks, bub. And that's it. You good, Chris? Say good night to everyone.
Have a great night, everyone.
You guys are wonderful. See you next time. Do-do-do-do-do-do.